Let's go to SEC Nation host Laura Rutledge, ESPN, SEC Network. I hope you're doing great. Welcome in to the game here on Tide 100.9.
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
Very good, very good. Hey, it's crazy when you think about it, and when you look at this game, Laura. I've got to ask you, when you look at this game, what is it about this game that really sets up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned just the fanfare leading into it is incredible, even before the game even kicks off. And then I actually believe that this game really will live up to the hype. You know, sometimes we talk about these games ad nauseum, and we don't realize that, maybe they're not going to be as great as we think they are when we've talked about them for so long. This one really is going to be that great. I think the offenses on both sides, with Alabama's offense, we know what they can do, that incredible receiving core. I believe Tua is in a good scenario to play and be, as healthy as possible in this game. And then on LSU's side, Joe Burrow's come crashing onto the scene. Joe Brady managing their offense for LSU, and they've got a really good three-headed monster at receiver too. So this one just has a chance to be one for the ages, and I can't wait for it to kick off.
Well, when you look at this Alabama team, up until this point, can we make the argument, and I've described it this week, when you look at Alabama, Duke, New Mexico State, South Carolina, Southern Miss, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Arkansas, it's kind of like going into a test on a final exam, and you know that you've already got an A locked up. So it's like, do you really have to have focus to beat New Mexico State? You have to have focus to beat, Arkansas or Ole Miss. This is one of those that you're going to have to do a cram session. You're going to have to study all week for this final exam.
Yeah, and I think the good thing is a final exam, then Alabama's had 2 weeks to prepare for it, right, which helps for sure. I think the key for Alabama in this one is just not getting away from what has done well for them. And that maybe sounds like I'm trying to be Nick Saban here, but they really have had a lot of success doing things the right way, which is the key for them. And that's getting that offense rolling early and making Tua comfortable and getting the ball in the hands of the receivers, also running the ball well. That's going to be crucial in this one, especially, LSU's front seven is not one that, would really make you terrified when you're talking about, some of the great front sevens of all time. This is not one of those. And I would say really not one of those on Alabama's side either. So it works out well, I think, for these teams to both be able to throw the ball well, run the ball well, and try to do everything they can to get these offenses going early. I imagine we'll see that early and often. So for Alabama, yes, this will be a test, but I think they're equipped to pass it with everything that they've worked on already, and just kind of that built-in ability in big games. Both of these teams have played, in big games. Now, LSU kind of more recently this year, bigger games than Alabama, but Alabama is no stranger to these huge games.
Laura, when you look at so many different things about this game, do you think the Heisman Trophy could be decided Saturday night when you look at this atmosphere in this game?
Yeah, it could. If Joe Burrow comes into Tuscaloosa and wins this game and, orchestrates some sort of big-time drive, then maybe that's his Heisman moment. If Tua is out there and playing exceptionally well, even though we know that he may not be at 100% with that ankle injury, then maybe that's his Heisman moment. I do think that this has a chance to sort of be that big moment for whomever is going to win the Heisman, and you would think that, the contenders are in this game, right, or at least a couple of them. So I'm excited to see that. And I think with the Heisman at this point, I mean, it's an award that means so much, and I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but so much of these guys that end up being, in the race for the Heisman, they'll tell you they care way more about a national championship. So I also think that's a big factor in this game. It's yes, an individual performance from somebody could put them on a pedestal to win the Heisman, but it's really more about what are they doing to set themselves up to win national championships, because both of these teams have those types of aspirations too.
Laura Rutledge is with us. She's the host of SEC Nation, presented by Regions Bank, which is going to air live at Moore Hall. Now, we're encouraging people to go out and support this and be a part of the atmosphere. Moore Hall, if you know anything about the campus of the University of Alabama, Coach Bryant's original office is in that building. There's a plaque on the outside of the building that recognizes Moore Hall. So right there on the corner of the quad, if you're looking out to University Boulevard from Denny Chimes, it'll be on the left-hand side there, Moore Hall. I'm curious, can you walk us through the decision, ESPN College Game Day here, SEC Nation here. Can you was there a debate of even going anywhere else with this game, or did you guys just look at it and say, listen, it's worth the double coverage, it's worth all the attention that this is going to be given?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you've got a game like this, a game of the century, it's worth both shows going, and I'm excited to see the support that SEC Nation will have out at Moore Hall. We always love going to Alabama because, it's a place that we go every year, and we're a show that you can always count on to show up and be there for you guys. And so we've really enjoyed the hospitality that we've received in Tuscaloosa, and I'm sure this one's going to be like no other. And so it really wasn't a debate, and I love the fact that SEC Nation, even last week, we were at Florida, Georgia. We were at the best game of the week. We're always trying to find the best way to be at those top games in our conference. And, to be able to be there no matter who else is there is a lot of fun for us.
All right, so Laura, when you get to this game and you begin to look at a prediction, it seems like when you look at a lot of the national analysts, it seems like the LSU Tigers is getting a lot of love. Alabama fans, and even Terrell Lewis, I know he tweeted out a couple of hours ago and said, we feel highly disrespected that a team like LSU coming into Tuscaloosa and getting that disrespect. I mean, maybe Alabama plays with a little chip on their shoulder and says, LSU's getting a lot of love, and maybe that's perfect for Nick Saban trying to coach this team up.
Yeah, look, I mean, I do think it plays in Alabama's favor, the fact that all year long everybody's been talking about Alabama, having to face off against this LSU offense that might give them a run for their money or will give them a run for their money. That's been the conversation for weeks now, ever since people realized that LSU's offense really is legit. And, Alabama as a doubted team, or a Nick Saban team in general as a doubted team, is really scary for their opponent, especially when the game's at home. I would imagine that this Tide team will be incredibly motivated. I think one of the things for Alabama is just being able to channel that motivation and not get too hyped up early on and make a mistake that could cost them, because I do think this one's all about the details, and Alabama's got an advantage there with how disciplined they can be. But yeah, this is all about, let's see if they can turn it into that, and let's see if they can stay on schedule and make this thing matter most when they have the opportunity, because I think they'll have chances against LSU. They just have to capitalize on them.
Laura, final question. When you look at Alabama and LSU, are you expecting this as a shootout game? Do you expect that, because we're all going into it going two explosive offenses who rank in the top 5 in every statistical category. Is there any chance that this is not that style of game, that maybe it's more of, a traditional Alabama and LSU game that might be played in the 20s, might be played in the 30s? What are you expecting with the style of game?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's possible. It'd be pretty funny if we're all saying this is going to be this offensive, crazy back and forth game, and then it ends up being a defensive battle like we've seen in the past between these two teams. But I do expect it to be a high-scoring game. I just think both these offenses are too good. The only thing that I guess could maybe matter with that is if both quarterbacks just had really off days, or maybe there were injuries, God forbid, that factored in. But either way, I mean, I imagine this one to be high scoring. The one thing that I would say is that, everyone's talking about how both these quarterbacks can throw the ball and their accuracy, but watch for the run games to factor in here. I do think that both teams, and maybe Alabama even more so, will be trying to establish that run game early and often. They've got the ability to do so. And so, to me, the team that does have the most success probably will be the team that imposed their will on the ground and was able to make some big shots and take some deep shots to get explosive plays. But an explosive play is an explosive play, even if it comes in the run game. So I think that could be something to keep your eye on, too.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for being a part of our show here in Tuscaloosa. I mean, it's a lot of fun to be able to visit with you guys. It's a lot of fun, the atmosphere and the excitement that you guys will create in the next couple of days. And when you talk about this town, and I know you know a lot about Tuscaloosa. Your husband is a graduate at the University of Alabama, and you think about this environment. I've been here for quite a long time. This is my 19th year in radio in Tuscaloosa. I've never seen it like this. I mean, it is.
I'm excited. I think it really is going to be. It's different. It's just different this time, and this is going to be the one that we kind of point to and say, yeah, remember that game? I felt really lucky to be able to say, I was there. We haven't even kicked the game off yet, but I think it's going to be incredible.
Laura, thank you again for being a part of the show, and safe trip down to Tuscaloosa, and we'll see you very, very soon. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you so much.